being selfish isn't really a bad thing. Because, for example, let's say you do things for other people and you expect things in return, but then other people don't really help you in return. It's more self-destructive because you're putting your energy into the wrong people, you're putting energy into things that aren't really yourself, and you need to start putting energy into things that really benefit you. So by being selfish, it's not really a bad thing. It truly depends on the intention behind your actions. And let's say you're doing things for other people all the time, but then you're always expecting things in return. You have to realize that if you don't put yourself first, no one else will really put you first. Some people want to have help, but you have to realize that other people need to help themselves before you can help them. And people need a rough idea of what it is that they truly want to do and who they want to be around. Because you have to question this yourself. Who is really holding you back and who is helping you to grow? And the people that are helping you to grow, they have ambitions, they have goals that they want to do themselves, and they haven't really got the time to make fun of you, or they haven't got the time to really use you as well. And I'm going to say that when you're talking to most people, you are getting something out of it. So either you're learning something new, you're spending time with someone and it's really good, like someone's always planning out fun things for you to do. When it comes to being selfish, it's realizing that someone else may be better than you at a certain thing, but they can help you to grow as well. And I do understand that some people may be on your level, some people may be above your level, and some people may be below your level. And I'm not doing this based on ego, I'm doing this based on ambition. You have to realize the people around you, if they're not as ambitious as you realize that it can really hold you back. Because the level that you are at, they start to bring you down. Instead, people need to rely on discipline and not really motivation. Because that's why people that end up doing things, they realize that they do it first, and then even though it's not the best, it's just really about learning every single time. It starts to become a part of your day-to-day life. But when it comes to someone that's motivated, they only do things when they feel like it. And they only do things when they feel inspired. And sometimes people only do things when they're bored. And they should do it even though they're not bored. They should do it when they're stressed. And for the most part, people are by themselves anyway. So when it comes to you being selfish, it's not really a bad thing. Every single person has different things that they want to do. So you can't be mad at people when they want to be selfish, because we only have a limited time. We only have a limited time, and it's not like we can go back and change anything. So that's why most people really regret things, because they're either with the wrong people, they didn't put enough time into themselves, or they thought that being selfish was a bad thing. So for example, you have a messy appearance, you don't seem to care about how you look. Your appearance is what gets you in the door, but to stay in the room is based on your social skills, is based on all these other skills, such as your discipline, your motivation, your discipline all together. So you can't have discipline without motivation, because you can't do things without being motivated by something or someone. But when it comes to your discipline, it's something that you have to naturally do, and it's something that you naturally have. Because if you have no discipline whatsoever, you don't even know the progress that you're making, and you need to start tracking everything as well. And this isn't based on just fitness, it isn't based on just career, because you have to realize when you're in your career, you're very formal, you do everything you can to work as hard in your job, you do everything to look as presentable as possible. And when it comes to you not working, you realize that you're a completely different person because you're outside work, and you want that person to be the best version of you. You don't want it to be that you're comparing yourself to someone else, but then you haven't put in the work as someone else has. You know, for example, when you start to want what someone else has, but you don't know what they did, you don't know what they went through. And I'm going to say this as well, because when it comes to being selfish and you realize that both of you, you're doing the same thing, but someone else is just performing better than you can't take what someone else has really done, because the things that other people have achieved is something that's their milestones, and it happens in their timing. You have to realize that when something is not going right for you, sometimes it's not really meant for you, and sometimes you can put in all the time that you really want, but then things don't really happen the way that you want it to be. But then you have to be realistic, but not pessimistic. When you're realistic, you start to focus on the things that you can do every single day, and you need to be selfish, You need to start putting yourself out there so that you attract as many people as you really can. When it comes to you being pessimistic, you start to view people in a negative way. You start to not even ask people of how they can really help you. And you have to realize there's always someone that's performing better than you. There's always someone better looking than you. I know I shouldn't have said that, but someone has to say it to you, because the truth does really hurt. And even for me as well, like, I have to realize as well that I'm not as selfless as I may appear. The only time when I'm selfless is when I think that someone deserves it more than I do, just based on what they've been through. So let's say, for example, that there's an opportunity and it's a good opportunity for me or someone else. The only time that I'll let someone else have that opportunity over me is if they've been through worse and they need it more than I do. That's the only time that I'm being selfless. Because some people may show that they don't really want it, but then they're just given opportunities. And that's the only time that I'm being selfish, because you have to realize it. People that are getting opportunities but they don't do anything for it, obviously it's like a natural gift of theirs, or someone gave it to them. And I do understand that there are a few opportunities, but there's more people. And when I mean opportunities, it could mean job opportunities. It could be even being able to travel wherever you want. Because you have to realize it. Sometimes when you're in a job, you get to travel because of the job. Sometimes when you're working towards something, you find it hard to really treat yourself. And at that point, you need to realize that when you have some money aside and you have spare money, you can just go somewhere and really just travel. Because the thing is, when you go to a new environment, it's not just about the moments that you have, but it's realizing that when you go to a new environment, you start to see how other people are living. You start to question, am I going to be like this as well? Because the people that you surround yourself with is so important. And you don't want it to be that your situation is the way that you dress, because you don't want to look like you're a mess. And you don't want it to be that because you're in a bad situation that you start to become pessimistic, and then you realize that there's no way out because you left it too long. What I'm going to say about being selfish is realizing that everything happens towards a deadline. Because if you start setting deadlines for yourself of when you want to achieve something, even if you don't achieve it at that time, you realize that you're going to be way ahead than you really thought. So that's what I'm going to say as a main takeaway of this video. So when you put pressure on yourself and you do everything you can to act as soon as possible, you realize that you're going to be way ahead than you really thought. But let's say, for example, that you delay things and you take so long, you realize that you're not going to get to where you really wanted to be. And sometimes all you really need is a deadline, and you just need a little push to get to where you want to be, because starting things is really the hardest thing. And what I'm going to say about people that are really selfless is to not be taken advantage of. When it comes to being selfless, it may sound good, but it's very self-destructive, because you have to realize people will take advantage of you. You're spending your time on the wrong people, and you're spending your time not really focusing on yourself. And I do understand you want to help people, but at the end of the day, we're all living for ourselves.